This podcast is a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to find out more. This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys is brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. Head to patreon.com/Radio Mike and for as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every week. 50 years after the final Harry Potter book, Harry Potter is now headmaster of Hogwarts, ready to usher in a brand new generation of witches and wizards. My name's Radio Mike, and I love Harry Potter. In fact, I love Harry Potter so much that when I was a kid, I wrote a series of 7 Harry Potter fan fiction novels. This is book 2 in that series. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. Hamoras, everyone. Welcome to Harry Potter and the Boys, a fan fiction podcast by me, Radio Mike. We are on Book 2, Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournaments, and for their second ever appearance on this woeful show, it is Chibsy and Bevo from 1001 Songs That Make You Want to Die. Boys, how the hell are we?
Mate, what's going on, Mike? Thanks for having us.
I'm so glad you guys decided to come back after your last chapter.
I mean, you know, you get the Jim Wilkins choir and you need to be like, shit, where could this go?
Well, that kind of, I was going to ask you guys, like, do you remember what your last chapter was even about? Because I didn't off the top of my head. But before we get into that, can I actually ask, because you guys, as I said, you do a podcast, 1001 Songs That Make You Want to Die. Yeah. And just before we started, I was like, oh, you guys have had Will Anderson on your pod, who, just so you know, like, I have worked for Will Anderson for about 5 years now. Like, I've got his mobile number, I know his home address, I know everything about him, but he's never come on my podcast. How'd you get him? How'd you get him?
How did we get him, Chibs?
It's just, you know, my charm, I assume. I don't know.
Charm.
We had so we've had James Colley on a bunch, who is
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like
he's a writer for Gruen and a bunch of Will stuff,
He's
isn't
the
he?
head writer for pretty much Will's stuff on the ABC, and he's done a bunch of episodes. So it was just one of those, like, oh, I'll put in a good word for you. And I'm like, yeah, no worries. And then I got his email address and emailed him, and it was one of those, like, surprise, I actually got an email back. You know, like,
what's his email address? Something stupid like, I don't know.
You got it. You got it.
Don't say it out loud. It'll be on everyone's podcast.
Yeah.
It won't be cool.
No, everyone.
You know who
will
I'm
be able
really
to get
trying?
him.
Yeah.
You know who I'm really trying to get was Aggro, Jamie Dunn.
Oh yeah,
I think
the puppet.
He's the next podcast hero.
The Australian
the man
Muppet.
behind.
No, we don't want the man behind it.
The puppet.
You know
Full
what
character.
though? You guys actually get such amazing guests on your pod. Like, every week pretty much I look at the guests you've got on. I'm just like, how are they getting all these? How do you have time to organize all these people is my thing. Because I just think booking a guest for a podcast is so hard.
Yeah.
It says more about them.
It's just like, you must be available.
But do you just cold email everyone? Like, every guest on your show, you just cold email?
No, only people that we genuinely are interested in having on. So I think when we do get in contact with them, they can tell it's not just like a blanket, please be on our podcast. Like, we really do like their comedy or their music or, that sort of thing. Yeah, awesome. Yeah.
Well, yeah, as I was going to say, obviously you do remember that the last chapter you appeared on, maybe, it must have been a few months ago now, a very pivotal chapter of the book, because we did find out a lot about who are appearing to be one of the main villains of Book 2, the Team Wizard Tournament, the Jim Wilkins Choir. Have you guys reflected much on that chapter? Do you remember much of what happened back then with Jim Wilkins? Because a lot's happened since.
Well, I just remember that I desperately wanted to run out and buy a tuxedo and top hat and go start singing. That's what I wanted to do.
Bevo, what about you?
I'm just I'm reflecting on the old, what do they call it, the heel face turn when Mr. Croucher turned out to be on the run from the law, but also
accepted back into the fraternity without any issues.
Yeah, Board of Education really dropped the ball. Board of Magical Education, I should say.
Can I assume that you guys, like most return guests on the show, have not engaged with the podcast since your last appearance?
No, see, I'm listening, but I haven't caught up to this yet.
Oh, okay.
So I'm appearing in episodes that are going to completely ruin my experience in about a month when I get to this episode.
See, I frantically tried to catch up today.
Oh, did you
I'm
really?
Not quite there
so,
yet,
so can I ask, where are both of you at currently in your experience with the marvelous piece of writing that is the Harry Potter and the Boys franchise by me? Where are you both up to, and what are some highlights?
I've just started book 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm still getting over the shock and horror and everything of book 1
of it,
and the intense ending.
What were your thoughts on what happened at the end there, Chipsy?
Oh, look, I don't want to say I saw it coming, but it followed a formula, but then the formula was really done in a Harry Potter and the Boys style. It's almost like J.K. Rowling's books are starting to be wiped from my memory, and this is what Harry Potter is now.
The new canon.
Yeah,
the new canon.
Like I'll put the movie on and be like, "That's not how it goes. Harry Potter's meant to fucking bash a kid."
Actually, Chibsy, what did you think of at the end of the first book? Spoilers for anyone, but you just shouldn't be listening to this episode if you haven't finished it. There was 2 characters who kind of merged together in like a Dragon Ball Z fusion dance style magic. What did you think of that? And Bevo, chime in if you've read.
Very of its
or
time. No, I'm not up to that one. Sorry.
Dragon Ball Z. It's completely fucking lost on me. When you've been on our podcast, Mike, you two fucking idiots, all you do is talk about doing a Pokemon song or a Dragon Ball Z album or whatever. But again, it's very impressive for such a young man to be writing fiction of this quality.
Copying Dragon Ball Z.
Every time I'm on 1001 Songs, me and Bevo are like, next time we have to do the Pokey rap. The lyrics of which are just the names of all the Pokemon.
Did you memorize it like I did? Do you know it off by heart? I used to.
I only know the last verse, which is, as we both know, Charmeleon, Wartortle, Mewtwo, Tentacle, Aerodactyl, Omanyte,
Slowpoke,
Pidgeot,
Arbok. That's all, folks.
Catch 'em, gotta catch 'em all. Gotta catch 'em all.
Next fucking week.
Yeah, you gotta catch them all.
And
what's worse is I would have to read those lyrics out. So that's where the episode's really going to go haywire. Yeah.
Bevo, where are you up to in you said you were trying to catch up. How did you go? Where are you up to?
I'm going to be completely upfront. On the way to work, I listened to the one straight after hours. And then on the way back from work, I listened to the last one that came out.
Oh, yeah. That's good.
So I'm kind of, just to catch myself sort of up. So I'm still not really there. But I know there's an Eric Cartman-esque character.
There is, yes. Dimmy Dimatina. Now, guys, I'll give you a quick rundown of what you've missed. So, basically, the Team Wizard tournament has begun, and the first task of the Team Wizard tournament was in the last chapter, where my friend Sam Garlep joined us, and it was them battling against an Australian bull dragon, which is an Australian species of dragon in this franchise, apparently. And immediately, as the task started, one of there was one boy who was chosen for the Team Wizard tournament. His name was Gorby Bolonski. He's never appeared before until his name appeared in the Team Wizard tournament Goblet of Frostbite.
Polish descent, that one.
And all of the boys, when the dragon breathed a breath of intense flame, all of the boys ran behind a rock to dodge it, except for Gorby Bolonski, who perished and died immediately in the fire.
Gorby.
Now,
Can we just quickly
Yeah.
can we talk about why an Australian dragon would need fire as its
That's true. But maybe
like
it kind of makes sense that if you're in a really hot environment, you'd evolve to be able to breathe fire. If
Bevo, you idiot.
Sorry.
But what?
God, I imagine they live in the desert in the outback.
Well, you don't need fire in the desert. It gets cold at night, mate.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, just to keep yourself warm.
A couple more points just so we can get into the chapter. As soon as the dragon accidentally killed Gorby Bolonski, the dragon apologized to the boys and they agreed not to press charges. and
Very convincing dragon.
And earlier in the chapter, Mr. Charger, the evil potions teacher, murdered Seamus Finnegan and then tried to frame Harry Potter. So he told Harry Potter, everyone's going to think it's you. You have to hide the body.
And Harry's the one that employed him again.
Yeah. That's where we find ourselves at the beginning of chapter 16. If you guys want to open the PDF file I've sent you.
I'm starting to think Mr. Charger's not that great.
Obviously, the PDF file contains the chapter, and I did say, please do not open this top secret document until we get to this point on air.
Yes.
So, guys, whenever you're ready, and feel free to take it in turns.
Okay.
If you've opened it, feel free to begin by reading the title of the chapter.
It's very exciting.
Chapter 16.
Okay. Do you want to kick it off, Bevo?
Chapter 16, Gorby's Funeral.
So, I also think at the end of the last chapter, when Gorby died, it did say Gorby will never be mentioned in any Harry Potter related media ever again.
Except the next chapter.
Neck minute. Yeah.
Can I ask, were you trying to make it Dobby, but then Dobby with a G is just Gobby, so you had to change it to Gorby?
You know what? That's quite possible. That is quite possible.
Mike, there's no way you would have shied away from Gobby.
Gorby Bolonski.
All right, here we go. After Gorby had died, everyone went looking for Harry Potter to complain because they were really annoyed about someone dying in the tournament, and the boys were simply thinking, enough is enough of this shit.
I love that they were really annoyed about someone
I'm
dying in the tournament.
You're a master of the understatement, Mike, I think, in this series.
You know what I actually really like about this is, like, the thing that, like, in the real Harry Potter with the Tri-Wizard tournament, if you remember it, like, it was so dangerous, and none of the teachers are like, maybe we just shouldn't do the tournament because one of these kids is definitely going to die. This is so dangerous.
So dangerous. So dangerous.
And these boys are just like, enough is enough of this shit, guys.
Yeah.
I like that everyone went looking for Harry Potter. Like, is he hiding?
Like in a really annoyed manner, stomping around the castle looking for him.
Looking under pillows and stuff.
And what are they going to say to him? Like, Harry, someone's died. Call it off.
Yeah. He's
Call
like,
it off.
I killed 7 people at dinner last night.
That is true. As we know in this book, children are murdered chapter by chapter. Nameless and faceless children are murdered.
Harry Potter doesn't put any value on children's lives.
But when Gorby dies, the whole fucking school stops.
Yeah. They don't even know him.
Gorby.
Like, they weren't having dinner with him.
Is Gorby short for Gorbin?
Gorbin. Like Gordon.
Maybe.
Gordon, Gorby, Gorby, Gorbin. Gorbin Bolonski is actually quite a nice name.
Nice, beautiful name.
Do you want to carry on?
Yeah, carry on. Go for it.
Mr. Charger followed the boys as they walked up to Harry Potter's office, and he kept saying, "No, don't go get him. Just let try and beat the dragon." Grasp of English not that great. Just let try and beat dragon. No fair. You guys are ruining the game. Come on. Come on. You boys are so mean.
so Mr. Charge is like, do you guys ever watch The Simpsons?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know when I think it's like the private investigators
come
trying to
on.
convince Sideshow Bob not to leave.
Be your
Bud?
friend.
Come on, leave town. No. Come on. No. Oh, you're mean.
Yeah.
This very much feels like that. I've just taken that from that.
It does, yeah. Charge is just such a fucking menace, isn't he?
Come on, leave town.
No.
Oh, I'll be your friend.
No.
Oh, you're mean.
I love Charger.
Yeah.
Come on, guys.
He's the
Don't
best
tell Harry
villain they ever
Potter.
had.
You're ruining it. Come on, just try and beat the dragon.
Following the boys as they're storming around annoyed, just going, no, don't go get him.
Don't.
Don't, guys. Come on. Don't tell
Stop
him.
it.
Don't
It's
tell
a
Harry.
teacher doing this to the student.
Who were trying to report a
A
death.
death.
Don't report the death. Just leave it. Who cares? Don't tell him.
You're ruining it.
I put all this work into this tournament. Who cares? Don't tell Harry.
Oh,
He won't be impressed with me.
This is a 10-page chapter, guys. One of the longer chapters. We're still on page 1.
let's go. The boys couldn't even try to finish the task as the Australian bull dragon had gotten his keys and driven home and gone to get counselling because he had accidentally killed Gorby Bolonski. And thankfully no charges were being pressed, but he still had a guilty conscience. But the dragon story is a completely different book that won't be explored much further in this one. Just know that after years of therapy, the dragon finally started to get over the fact that he accidentally killed a child and begins to live a normal life. He goes on to get married and have several offspring, one of which he thinks about naming Gorby after the boy he killed, but eventually decides not to because, in his own words, Gorby is a stupid name.
So much to
So much
unpack.
just happened
wish-
then. We got a whole
I
story.
wish Harry Potter.
We got a whole 7 other novels,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Where's this?
I mean,
Where's
I
the
wish-
bull dragon
I
spin-off?
really wish that Harry had come up with that, like, don't call my kids Severus and Albus and stuff because they're stupid names.
Stupid.
He'll get bullied.
Is that what? Are you projecting on that one there, Mike? Or
I think so, probably. But you know what is interesting is, like, when you do name your child after, like, some famous person, like Harry did with Albus Severus, it's like people don't... The kids of tomorrow, they don't know who Severus Snape was. They don't know who Albus Dumbledore was. They just think they're fucking stupid names.
Yeah, it's just dumb
and that's
name.
probably what they're thinking. Yeah.
Harry Potter
Well-
should have called his son Steve.
Steve Potter.
Steve Potter.
Um,
He's a concrete.
You know what I love?
Yeah.
A magic concrete.
Yeah.
You know what I love most about this is the Australian bull dragon had gotten his keys and driven home.
Like,
just hopped in his, like, I-30 or something.
did he have a dragon-sized car, or he fit into a regular-sized car?
But it doesn't even really matter because, number one, they don't drive cars in the wizard world. Number two, dragons can fly. So in what universe would this dragon be driving a car?
I imagine the dragon lives in, like, this dimension, and he just was, like, you know, going out for the day in the magic world. Oh, I've gone and fucking killed
And just-
someone.
I'm just picturing being on the freeway and just looking to the right, and there's the dragon in his car going home.
Crying.
on the phone to his girlfriend, who he'll later marry and have kids with, and just she's like,
Yeah,
"How was
and
work
then he goes
today?"
home.
No, it's just like, "How was work today?"
Ugh.
It was. I'll talk to you when I get home.
Go to bed,
"Oh,
Jessica."
No, are you okay?
Can you line up some counselling for me, please?
I don't know if the dragon union pay for that or not. We did get even though you say this dragon will not be explored further at all. So let me just tell you its entire
The
life.
rest of its life, yeah.
Yeah. It's like if, like, Captain James Cook was like, Australia will not be explored further at all. Neck minute, we're fucking taking over the whole country. That's basically what this is.
Yeah. It's like, not going to be explored more, except very in depth right now.
Yeah. Wow. So we've just been taken on a totally different ride. You know, we've gotten everything we need to know about this dragon we know.
There's more.
Where do we pick it up? Bevo, do you want to pick up the next paragraph?
Yeah. I do want to talk about the spin-off dragon book, though, where...
At some point.
Marvel Extended Universe kind of stuff.
It's probably a Disney Plus series, that one, I think.
Straight to
wouldn't
streaming.
make its own film.
Straight to streaming.
Yeah.
Australian Bull Dragon. An Australian story.
It's really shittily animated as well.
Tonight on 60 Minutes, the dragon who killed a boy, he got away with it. And then there's like one of the reporters from 60 Minutes like knocking on the dragon's door and being like, Dragon, did you kill Gorby Bolonski? I don't want to talk about it right
Chasing
now.
him down the
Get
street.
off my property.
And
She's trying to open his car. He's fumbling with the keys.
they couldn't get Robin Williams to play the dragon in the sequel, so it's like just some no-name...
Dan Castellaneta.
You know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Didn't Dan Castellaneta
Genie,
voice
yeah,
Genie in this Aladdin
that's
sequence?
exactly right.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. When Professor Granger finally found Harry Potter, he was in the Forbidden Forest, covered in dirt and blood, holding a shovel and burying what appeared to be a corpse in what appeared to be a shallow grave. You do this one,
Wow.
Chips, because I think you'll do this one justice.
Harry, what are you doing? Said Hermione. Oh, Hermione, I'm just...
No, I think, hey, Chibsy, I think it's more like, oh, Hermione. Like he's been caught unawares.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hermione, I'm just I'm just been turbatin. Yep.
I
That's
think,
all.
Sorry, pause.
Turbatin.
I think it's turbatin. As
What's
in,
turbatin?
well, there's an apostrophe before the
silent
T.
mass.
I think there's a silent
Oh,
R, yes.
fuck. He's having a wank in the forest.
I think he's going, I've just been turbatin.
Turbatin.
Yeah.
Wait, that's what he's gone with. Like,
That's his excuse. I've just been turbatin.
don't mind me. I'm always covered in blood when I jerk off. Yeah. Turbatin.
The shallow grave? No, that's for sperm. It's positive.
My sperm pouch. Earth's sperm pouch. Yep, that's all. Just me, Harry Potter. Turbatin out here. Just about finished, if you'll excuse me, Harry said. It was his go-to when he needed an excuse.
I think in the first book there is a chapter where the boys walk in on Harry like hiding under a table and he's like, oh, I've just been turbatin or whatever he said. I love turbatin because no one says that.
No one. No, it's a magic thing.
There's way more efficient ways to say it, isn't there?
I love this shit. He's digging a grave covered in blood with a corpse.
It feels
It's like,
very like.
What are you doing?
Very,
Oh, it's just masturbating.
Turbatin feels very like southwestern American. Like I just been turbatin down there.
I done been turbating. I just finished turbating.
All right, Hermione responds.
You were masturbating with a shovel? It looks like you're digging a grave and burying what appears to be the dismembered corpse, Professor Seamus Finnegan, in the forest. I don't see any signs of you masturbating, said Hermione.
It's a fair point.
Harry looked gobsmacked.
Any signs?
It is a fair point because, if he was turbatin, as he says he was, you would expect
the signs would be there.
there'd at least be a penis somewhere.
You would think so. Yeah. Fly undone.
You just got to look for the signs.
Yeah. What? What on earth are you talking about? I'm not burying anyone. I sometimes come out to the forest to masturbate and have alone time, that's all. The body you're seeing is an illusion. Even if it is real, it's definitely not Seamus Finnegan, and I definitely didn't murder him. No, sir. No, ma'am. Not me. Not Harry Potter. I've just been turbatin, that's all. No murdering over here for old HP. Just going hard, wanking my willy. Anyway, you don't even have to think about that, because none of this is real. Come on. I'll apparate you back to my office.
Perfect opportunity to put the remembering spell on Hermione.
It also does say apparat you back to my office. It should be apparate. But what I think my favourite part of that, it's like, what are you talking about? And then he's like, I didn't murder him. No, sir. No, ma'am. Because it's unclear whether he's correcting himself for calling Hermione sir, or if he's trying to just generally address everyone that may be in the
just saying
vicinity.
it to anyone that could possibly be here.
Yeah. No, sir.
Yeah.
No, ma'am. Not me. Not Harry Potter.
murdering
Just been
here.
debating. The old HP.
Let's come to the forest to wank.
How many Harry Potter's classmates ended up being teachers at Hogwarts?
I think all of them.
All of them?
Every
Yeah.
single...
Yeah.
Neville's a teacher, Hermione and Ron were, Seamus. I think that's all that are mentioned. Oh, Lavender Brown, I think, is the librarian or the divination teacher or something. So,
What
yeah.
a horrible future.
What happens to the ghosts? Like the ghosts that were around when Harry and that were at school. They don't age, obviously. So are they still just
You were talking
hanging
about this
around?
in the episode that I was listening to. The ghosts being creepy and the one that murdered the other one, and they still
The
live
Bloody
together.
Baron. Yeah, I feel
That's-
like there would eventually be, in the Wizarding World, there would just be too many ghosts.
Oh,
That's what I mean.
All of physical space would just be taken up by ghosts. So everywhere you are, there'd just be a ghost.
Do they bring in the Ghostbusters, maybe?
And is that
Yeah,
not
but-
hell? Is that not hell? Like, have you ever spoken to a 12-year-old?
Yeah,
Imagine
I have.
doing that
It would
every
be
year
hell.
for
forever.
500 years.
That'd be crazy.
Like your
You'd
only
be
company
so
is
sick of it.
children who wrote this kind of book. All right, here we go.
You're up, Bevo.
Karen? Harry apparated Hermione to his office, where she explained that Gorby Bolonski had been killed in the Team Wizard tournament and advised Harry to cancel the whole fucking thing because it was obviously a huge fucking ploy to kill the fucking boys.
She's cutting sick.
All in quotation marks. Which
It's fucking
implies
with an
that-
E, which is my favourite type of fucking, like, not fucking, fucking.
But I also
Fucking.
love that it is in quotation marks, which does imply that Hermione did say exactly that.
Yeah, quote unquote Hermione Granger.
Harry,
Cancel
you
the
have
whole
to cancel the
fucking
whole
thing.
fucking thing.
Fucking thing, because it was obviously a huge fucking ploy to kill the fucking boys.
And like, good that Hermione's finally speaking up, because this has been obvious from the start to all the readers and characters.
We got a lot of content to go through, so we should probably pick it up.
Harry became unsteady on his feet, almost as if he was about to faint. He began to cry. Perhaps the inhumanity of Hogwarts was finally getting through to him. Perhaps now and only now that Gorby Bolonski, one of his students, had been killed in the Team Wizard tournament, could Harry Potter finally take responsibility and be the great man that everybody thought he was. Maybe this was a turning point for Harry, who began to howl and wail of pain, hurt and mourning for Gorby. Gorby Bolonski has died! How? How could this happen? Oh, dear Lord, this is horrible. This is the worst day of my life. Poor Gorby. Poor sweet Gorby. Poor sweet innocent Gorby. Taken from us all too soon. And to think I could have stopped it. If only I wasn't stuck in the forest debating. Obviously, debating feel good. But I should have been there for Gorby. Oh, my sweet Gorby. I'll never forget him, said Harry.
Obviously, debating feel good.
He's so like wound up by the idea of masturbating, he forgets how to speak.
But yes, I do love.
Debating feel good.
I love this reaction. And you read that so well, Chibsy, if I do
Thank
say
you.
so myself. Like, oh, the poor sweet Gorby, poor sweet innocent Gorby.
And it still comes back to him masturbating.
If only I wasn't stuck in the forest.
I could have saved him.
I like that he's stuck there doing it.
Yeah, I was stuck in the
I
forest.
didn't have any say.
Do you even know who Gorby Bolonski is? Said Hermione inquisitorily. Isn't he the guy my dad was friends with? Harry responded, all of his tears immediately stopping, as though his morning was simply make-believe. You mean Sirius Black? Said Hermione. Sorry, let me finish because it's all part of the joke.
You finish.
You mean Sirius Black? Said Hermione. No, the other guy, said Harry. Professor Lupin? Said Hermione. Yeah, Gorby Lupin, wasn't it? Said Harry. No, Harry. Gorby Bolonski is not Professor Lupin. Professor Lupin died in Book 7, literally 50 years ago. Gorby was a student at the school. He died literally just now. Today.
So he's just gone on this huge rant. Oh, Gorby, the humanity, he's dead. And then Hermione's like, do you even know who that is? He's like, yeah, that guy my dad was friends with. Then immediately has stopped crying. It's like, yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
Serious
old mate.
Professor, isn't that Professor Lupin? Gorby Lupin? That was him, right?
Gorby Lupin, wasn't it?
It's a different Gorby.
But he's he just has no memory of any of these people in his life. He's just like, yeah, Gorby Lupin, he's dead. Did he die? That sucks.
Also, the fact that he's really upset about a death, but in the chapter that we did, old Crouch was killing people left, right, and centre. I reckon he killed 20 people.
Mr. Charger. Mr. Charger.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So suddenly he's pretending he's so upset by the death of someone that it's a mistaken identity as well.
He thought he was 3 different people. Yeah.
Okay, so Gorby was a student at the school. He died literally just now, today, Harry.
Today. Oh, the tragedy, said Harry as he burst into tears again. Also, can you book in a wizard's chess session with Professor Lupin when you can? Seamus and Ron have both died, so I want someone to play with. Thanks.
Harry, I just said Professor Lupin is dead, said Hermione.
Oh, the humanity! The tragedy! Poor Professor Lupin, taken from us far too soon. If only he'd used his magical eye to save himself, said Harry.
Harry, that's Mad Eye Moody. He's dead too. But I think you've gotten them confused, said Hermione.
Just keep reading. I think this is great.
I'll do Hermione.
Yeah,
you
the
do
duality
Harry.
you guys have got here is working so well. So stay in character.
Wait then, which one was Professor Lupin? Said Harry.
The one who was friends with your dad, said Hermione.
Peter Pettigrew, said Harry.
No, he's dead, said Hermione.
Oh, the humanity! Oh, the tragedy! Death is all around us! Poor Peter Pettigrew! Taken far too soon!
Also, this is 50 years after the fact. They would have been well into their 80s or 90s.
But you know what else is great about this is when he asked to book in a wizard's chess with Professor Lupin, so he immediately forgets the conversation he's just
She's
had.
just told him he died 50 years ago. It's and while we're at it, book in chess for me, thank you, Professor Granger.
I'm starting to think that all the events of the books didn't really do that well for Harry's mental health.
No, it's
After all.
traumatized him. And then he's also forgotten that Peter Pettigrew betrayed his parents to Voldemort, because he's like,
forget
oh,
that,
poor Peter
Time heals that
Pettigrew,
wound.
taken far too soon.
All right. The next day, Harry held a whole school assembly in the Great Hall to inform them of Gorby's untimely death. Now, I know many of you are sad about Gordy's death yesterday in the tournament, said Harry.
He calls him Gordy.
Gordy.
It's oh, Midge, come on, they're going to take my thumbs.
I'm surprised he didn't say, I know many of you are sad about Professor Lupin's death yesterday.
None of the students were sad, and none of them were crying or cared about the assembly. Gorby was a minor character introduced in this book specifically to die in the Team Wizard tournament.
the narrator again.
Just a little interjection.
It's like, yeah, obviously they're not fucking upset. They don't know who it is.
Imagine being you'd be at your school assembly. It's like, now we'd like to announce that Gorby Lupin just died, and you're sitting there like, fuck. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Bell
Just
gonna
want to go
ring.
to recess.
Like 10 of my friends just died the other day with fucking
Mr. Charger's killing
Charger,
curses.
yeah.
Death is all around us.
Poor Peter Pettigrew.
When can I get back to debating? Yeah, before.
All I wanted to do was
You need me, I'll be in the
debate.
forest. And so, because of yesterday's events, we have decided to cancel the Team Wizard tournament, which seems like the only logical thing to do in a situation like this, in which a dangerous tournament is occurring and someone dies. Realistically, you'd think the most logical thing to do would be to just not hold the tournament at all. But alas, Harry said.
Now, I think this is kind of playing into what I was saying before about, like, I think this is me trying to satirize the Goblet of Fire and being like, why does Harry just have to compete? Why can't he just say, I'm not going to compete no matter what you do? And why didn't they cancel the tournament after they knew something clearly suspicious was going on? And credit to Harry Potter here, because I feel like this is the first sensible thing he's done in this entire series, being like, okay, a kid's died, we're not doing the tournament anymore.
Yeah. Although I don't trust anything Harry Potter says in your book.
Yeah.
That
He
is
also
true,
said
but
that bloody Charger would never teach again. Not while I'm principal. And now your new teacher, Mr. Charger.
as well as that, I also think this is an interesting twist for the book, because the book is called Harry Potter and the Team Wizard Tournament. We're only about
it's over.
halfway through the book, and the tournament's over. So where does the story go from here?
And the cancellation of the Team Wizard tournament.
Well, read on, dear listener, and we'll find out. Nobody cared at all. Oh, cared at all. Nobody
It's supposed-
cared at all.
It's supposed to be cared at all, but there's a space between care and the D, so it's cared at
So,
all.
Yeah,
It's
it
more
reads like,
gangsta.
nobody cared at all. Nobody cared at all or said anything. The boys were over the moon that the tournament was cancelled. Gorby's funeral was held the next day. Rob decided to go on behalf of the boys. But when he arrived in the great funeral hall... Hang on, let me read that again. When he arrived in the great funeral hall, a new part of Hogwarts specifically for holding funerals for students... Nobody was there, so Harry told him to head back to class as the funeral would be cancelled.
So
Harry was
much
there.
here. There's so much to unpack. First of all, I love that it says Rob decided to go to the funeral, and then in quotations, on behalf of the boys. So he's like, you think
The representative.
You can kind of picture them sitting around the Gryffindor common room, being like, I mean, I guess we should go to the funeral. Like, we probably should. And then Rob goes, guys, I'll go on behalf of the group. You guys stay and study, do what you got to do. I'll go on behalf of the group.
I'll go. Take one for the team.
It kind of is like that with funerals sometimes. Like, sometimes it's like one family member will go to the funeral kind of as a representative.
Representing the whole family. It's like an umbrella sort of situation.
We shouldn't all suffer.
And then also, the fact that, one, there is a great funeral hall now, which does mean that
Next
they
door to the-
are holding funerals for all of the students that are being killed.
And also frequently enough to justify having a funeral.
The construction of a new hall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that at the shareholder meeting for Hogwarts. Like, yeah, so we've put in 1 million galleons into a state-of-the-art funeral hall to make sure our students are remembered when they die. The shareholders are
Kind of like this.
The parents don't get any say where they're buried, where the funeral is. Nothing.
It's a bit like the situation in the US, isn't it? Why don't we stop killing people at school? No, just build a hall. Funeral
Build
hall.
a funeral hall, yeah.
Build a funeral.
That'll solve it.
But then I love that, Harry is there seemingly going to be the one to officiate the funeral, and only Rob shows up again on behalf of the boys, and Harry goes, look, no one's come, we're just going to call the whole fucking thing off. And tells him to go back
As
to
Hermione
class.
would say, call the fucking thing off.
All right. As his grave was lowered into the ground, the Jim Wilkins Choir sang a departing song for Gorby. Can you give us this one, Mike? I'd like to hear.
Yeah, sure. Ring, ring, ring with the trolley. Clang, clang, clang with the bell. Gorby's death is so sad. And if you go to the beach, you might see a shell. So they're really trying with the rhymes. They're really trying.
It's like one of our songs that we do.
Yeah. I do like that the Jim Wilkins Choir is just sort of doing like show tune style.
Yes. At a
Same
funeral.
song from before.
Yeah.
Not even in a minor key. It's just the
No.
same song with slightly
Exactly
different
the same.
lyrics.
Yeah.
From The Sound of Music, as we established, I think, on the last time you guys were on.
Yes. Yeah. The boys were really happy and felt a lot of joy about the fact that they could just go on with the school year as normal. Thank God we don't have to do that stupid tournament anymore, said Sam. Yep, said Luke. Everything was wrapped up really nicely, and way earlier than I would have thought. We've only like 16 chapters into a book, and the last book had like 30.
This is kind of what I was getting at before. Like, we've wrapped up pretty quickly, but there's a lot of the book left, guys.
At least they pointed it out. Yeah. It's like, we're all done. All right, cruising here.
I'll bring it home.
Everything's
Well
just gonna
said,
be
Michael.
normal. Sorry.
Yeah.
No, sorry. Well, said Michael, at least we know we can just finish the rest of the year now and not have to worry about anything because of all the main action of the book is completely finished and we won't have to deal with anything like this for the rest of our time at Hogwarts. But of course, the boys were wrong because, as you will find out in the very next chapter, the main plot of this currently pointless book hadn't even really begun yet.
Oh,
Bum, bum,
and then
bum.
I have included the title of the next chapter if you guys wanted to read that out.
Chapter 17. The main plot of this currently pointless book begins.
This is
Tune in next
7
week.
17 chapters into a book before the plot starts.
I do
I've
love this.
unfortunately,
Rings.
I've read books like that, like legitimate books that you go, what the fuck are we doing here?
You know, so let me just jump over to Lord of the Rings for a second. You're a Lord of the Rings guy, aren't you, Chibs?
Sure.
Have you read the books?
Yes.
You know, okay, so in the movie, Frodo and Bilbo have the party, and then Bilbo gives Frodo the ring,
Yep.
and Gandalf's like, fucking take the fucking ring.
Yeah.
And then Frodo's like, yeah, okay, I'll take it.
Oh,
In the books, 17 years pass before he decides to do anything.
Yeah. It's called killing time. Procrastination is a curse.
Thankfully, though, you don't have to read those 17 years. It's just kind of a sweeping statement. Whereas, what I do respect about this author, whoever they may be, is that they're kind of just being honest. Like, J.K. Rowling, obviously, as an author, she planned out every part of the books. This author is just like, hey, this is what happened. I'm just telling you what happened.
That's
And
true. You can't
unfortunately,
argue with that.
everything that's happened so far in this book is now pointless because the tournament is over.
It's over. It's poetry in motion.
Yeah, it's like it's just what happened. It doesn't. There's no like. This isn't.
There's no
Metaphor?
planning.
It
I am
just
just
happened.
narrating what happened to these boys at Hogwarts, and this
I'm
is what
simply
happened.
a fly on the wall telling
yeah.
you what is happening throughout the school year.
Guys, what did you think of that? That was a pretty big chapter. Like, lots happened.
A lot happened in that. A lot. We had a dragon driving a car.
Harry Potter getting his Elder Wand out.
Yeah, Harry Potter. Yeah, digging a grave, rubbing one out.
Keeping in mind at this point, Harry's in his 60s. Gross.
He's probably in his 70s.
Oh,
Like late 60s, early 70s, and he's just burying a body and then saying that he's been turbatin. Clearly, that's a phrase from the future. Just
Hermione's
been
gone
turbatin,
full.
Hermione.
Hermione's gone full Kath and Kim.
Fucking
Yeah.
call the whole thing off, Harry. Fucking ploy to kill the kids. And then, of course, Harry forgets every person that sacrificed his life for you.
he has a fake sort of mental unhingement, like where it's basically done like an Amber Heard, where he's pretending to be normal and sad.
You know what else though? It's kind of like in those moments where Hermione's like, Gorby Bolonski has died, he's like instantly responding how he thinks a normal person would respond, which is why he's like,
Sociopath.
Gorby, yeah, he's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath.
No, sociopath is what he...
Yeah,
Right.
sociopath. Like, instantly in his brain, it's like, how would a human respond to this? Oh, Gorby!
Death is all around us. I imagine it's like a John Cleese Monty Python style, like
Yeah.
the big sermon screaming.
What do you guys reckon was the highlight of this chapter?
Oh man, I'm going to say my favourite is him not knowing at all who he's crying about being dead, and but also feeling confident enough just to take wild guesses at who it could possibly be.
For me, it's the fact that he was busted doing something bad. So his best excuse was turbatin.
Although, Bevo, to be honest, if you were caught burying a body, what's your go-to excuse?
Not that I was Tibetan.
I'm going with this one now. This is
Yeah.
from
So,
now on.
what are you
Guys,
doing? Masturbating. Jesus, okay? I'm ashamed of it.
I'm embarrassed. You've got...
Yeah.
You know what? You know how what the old phrase says? Haters gonna hate. Debaters gonna debate.
Debate.
Was there a low light to this chapter? What was the low light, do you think, guys?
Maybe the tournament ending?
I'm sad about the funeral that no one turned up to.
Yeah, no one
Poor
turned
Gorby.
up. Poor Gorby. Not even his parents came.
No, they don't know he's dead.
Still trying to notify
Because you know why?
the parents.
Hogwarts is still charging school fees for the next 6 years.
Yeah, it's a scam.
It's a scam.
And they're still in Warsaw.
And finally, guys, and this might be the hardest question to answer and the hardest for anyone to answer, because do you have any predictions now of where the book's going to go for the next
Jesus.
3 or 4 months that we have to read it? Because there's everything's kind of wrapped up. Really.
Fuck, I don't even want to guess. I have no idea. Like, I'm trying to sort of enter the mind of a young radio Mike that was sitting behind his computer writing this and be like, where's he going to go with this? But I'm feeling like my instinct straight away is that there is going to be more masturbating.
Okay.
Yeah, it seems like that's ramped up.
Yeah, it seems like that you caught onto something there and you went, oh, there's gold here.
This is good.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a magical version of masturbating that's madge-debating? Just debating?
I hope so.
Absolutely.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Bevo, any predictions?
Look, I'm the same. I feel like Harry's so unhinged that anything can happen, but he's not working in anyone's best interest. So I like, despite him being maybe the villain of the piece, he's probably one of the more interesting characters. So
Yeah.
let's.
Well, so the
looking forward to
tournament
finding him.
might come back.
It probably
some
will.
point.
It probably.
Yeah. But it's like
okay, guys.
underground, like
Yeah.
black market tournament.
A student run tournament. The students
run
like, we
tournament.
still want to do it.
Yeah, less death, more safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, do you want to plug your show, please? And thanks for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Oh, no worries. Bevo can plug it.
1001 songs that make you want to die on all podcast platforms. Let's have you back, Mike, sometime soon, because
I'd love that.
always have a bit of fun when you're on.
Yeah,
Neil
you got
Anderson
any
has been on
songs
the
in
show.
mind? Got any songs in mind? Mike?
I was thinking of a few the other day. I think if I come on again, and this, don't hold me to this, but I might want to do Chiquitita by ABBA if you haven't done that, because
That'd be fun.
I had that song stuck in my
Chiquitita,
head
tell
for
me what's
15 years.
Fantastic.
So
You haven't done another
yeah.
one, and I always enjoy talking about
Yeah,
the
but-
Swedes.
the 4 that I've done 4 eps, I think, and I've done Year 3000 by Busted, Steal My Girl by One Direction, Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer,
Yeah.
and then Boom Boom Pow by Black Eyed Peas.
Boom Boom
Any
Pow.
Black Eyed Peas.
Yeah.
It's always a good time doing Black Eyed Peas. They're
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
easy targets.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
go and check out that pod. Will Anderson's been on it. He hasn't been on this podcast before, but here we are.
I'll talk to him,
Guys.
Mike. Don't worry.
Thank you so much.
Let's
for
get him
coming on
twice
the
before
show.
Mike can get him once.
Yeah, sure, I'll do that. Yeah. Thanks heaps for having us, Mike. Love the podcast,
Yeah.
mate.
No, very
Keep
much
it up.
appreciated.
Awesome. Goodbye, Hamoras, everyone. Love you. Goodbye, Hamoras. Guys, say goodbye, Hamoras.
Goodbye,
Bye.
whores.
To bait.
Anyway, guys, I gotta go. I'm planning on Turbatin. Yeah, that's
Trip
what I'm
to the
doing.
forest.
Turbatin.
Off I go.
Yeah, I'm gonna be Turbatin tonight. That's what I'll be doing. Don't ask any
Well,
questions about all
I'm
the
actually-
loud killing noises you'll be hearing. It'll just be me, Turbatin.
I'll be grabbing my keys, going home, booking some counselling, and we'll see what happens after that.
See you guys.
Catch ya.
See ya.
This episode of Harry Potter and the Boys was brought to you by Radio Mike on Patreon and the 20th Century Boy podcast. For as little as $1 a month, get a bonus podcast every week at patreon.com/Radio Mike. And search 20th Century Boy on your favorite podcast app to hear more from me every single week. See you there. This podcast was a Radio Mike original production. Head to radiomike.com.au to check out all our other content, stay up to date at radio.mike on Instagram, and get in touch, radiomikepod@gmail.com.